Welcome back. Everyone knows that the city of Tallahassee gets its fair share of rain. But did you know that there's a smart way of how to capture rain and turn it into cost savings? One local individual will show us how he's using this natural resource.
I think everybody's heard that only like 3% of the water in the whole world is fresh water. So there's just not a lot of it. It's not renewable. Rainfall replenishes our water supply, but the more we use up, it has to impact water resources somewhere else. In North Florida, we're blessed with an abundant supply of rainfall. We get about 66 inches of rain a year. That's more than anywhere else in the state, pretty much. It's clean water, it perks through the soil and recharges the aquifer. It's a resource that right now, much of the time, we're just trying to get rid of. To do that requires a lot of resources on the part of the city, especially the Stormwater Management Department. Over the last 10 years, for example, we've spent $70 million in building facilities to help reduce flooding around the city of Tallahassee. And the reason that flooding has occurred is because as development has occurred, we've just been trying to get rid of that free resource, not look at it as a resource that can help us save money and conserve water. A good bit of that water is used for irrigation, and that's one of the things that you as a homeowner can really help the city conserve on. Rather than paying for water, particularly water that you're going to use outside, is to capture some of that rainwater. We call it rainwater harvesting these days. We can do that through rain gardens. And what that is just a low depressional area where you plant native plants, preferably, that can survive in a wet environment. You channel the runoff from your roof and your driveway to that area. It percolates into the ground. That can save and reduce the amount of runoff from a typical residential lot by up to 20%. And that's a lot of water to save. We can do it through rain barrels. A typical rain barrel can save a homeowner about 1,000 gallons a year in water that they would use to water their gardens. Another option in the rainwater harvesting realm that's kind of the ultimate is a system that we've seen that a gentleman named Buzz Ireland has instituted. His is a rain, what you would more appropriately call a rain cistern rather than a rain barrel. It's very large. It can hold up to 2,000 gallons.
I do a lot of gardening and with flowers and vegetables, and I've always been concerned over how much water it takes to, when the rains stop, to keep these crops and flowers looking pretty. So I got interested in saving rainwater on my property, and Aquascape, the company I buy my supplies through, developed a very good rain harvest system. So I took some classes on how to install it, and we put one in at my house. I have a small excavator, so I dug a hole. It was 10 feet by 12 feet, I believe, and it's 5 feet deep. And once we got the hole excavated, we put down sand to give it some cushion. And then there's a product called underlayment. It's a heavy-duty, kind of like landscape fabric. You put that down, and then you put the rubber liner. Then you put another layer of the underlayment fabric there. Then we fill the hole with called aqua blocks. There's 64 of them in this basin, and each one holds 32 gallons of water. It's just a medium to give it strength, and it's strong enough you could actually drive a vehicle across it. It would hold it up. Then we put gravel on top of that, so there's a good foot or foot and a half of gravel on top of those aqua blocks. We had permeable pavers installed on top of the basin, so when it rains, the water flows directly through them. It's amazing to look out there when it's pouring down rain and the water just disappears and it goes directly into the basin. This is the permeable paver patio I'm standing on. Under me here is the 10 by 12 foot basin. And then everywhere there's gravel and pavers, the water flows directly into the basin from that area. So when I water plants up here on the patio, any excess water goes right back down into the basin. The water is collected from the gutters, and it comes down and goes through a filter system here, and there's a net in there I empty 2 or 3 times a year that collects some sediment. Over here in the corner is a pump that pressurizes the water when I want to use it with a garden hose or just water my vegetable garden, which is 200 or 300 feet from here. It'll send water there at the same pressure as you would get out of a normal garden hose. And down here is where the pump is located. The pump is down in there that is recirculating the water through this urn to keep it aerated. You could also have a large waterfall coming into here and achieve the same thing, but I already had a pond and stream over there, so I just utilizing this urn that I found very attractive. And rainwater is very, very healthy for your plants because it's natural. When the basin fills up, the excess water flows underneath this pathway. This is a pipe, and there's another holding area at the end under that gravel that holds 100 gallons of water. We have a pretty steep roof, and when the water used to come down there, it just hit the ground. Even though I had gutters, it would just rush down the hill. But now it comes down, goes in the gutters, and goes into my rainwater basin. And just in a matter of a 2 or 3 hour rain, I've picked up over 500 gallons of water. It's just amazing how much water comes down each day when you have a little bit of rain. In general, it's just important to utilize the rainwater that comes down. It's free, and it's meant to be used where it falls. That's the way nature's set up. People tend to pave everything and disrupt the flow of water. So the more we can let nature utilize this water as it comes down, the better off the world is and we are in general.
Long before the green movement was becoming popular, the city of Tallahassee was being proactive in trying to promote conservation of our water supplies. The city is continuing to do that. We need our citizens to join us in that effort. That'll reduce the amount of water that we have to handle in these ponds, and it'll reduce the amount of money that we have to spend building them. That'll save the city money, which end up saving all of us money.